So what does working with Lockton look like? Like, do you want to take us through your engagement process?
Sure, yeah, no problem at all. So generally what happens is that we would get a call from a member of the MN or another client itself that would be wishing to become part of Lockton itself. And it starts off by mainly having maybe a 20-minute, 30-minute conversation with them. If it allows to have that at their premises, it's even better, so it allows me to get to know the company a little bit better itself. And just to find out exactly what type of program they've got in place at that particular time, what their grievances are, what their issues are at that particular stage, when they're due for renewal, what type of policies that they have. And I suppose at that stage is then if the prospect or the member is actually happy, then we would take that away and maybe do a bit of due diligence on the insurance program. We would look to find any issues that are there that are not, so whether it be an endorsement that's there that the client didn't know about, whether it's something that should be in the policy that's not in the policy, and really, to be honest with you, we should be able to ascertain whether they're in the right market, whether the right insurer is in place, and whether they're paying the right premium. So then that allows us to be able to tell the client that we believe that we would be able to make X amount of savings. I mean, the way we look at it at Lockton is, and the way it's been over the last few years, is that we would ascertain that we could make maybe 95% of prospect savings. We could make savings going forward for 19 out of 20 prospects, and in them we would ascertain that we could save in the region of 15 to 20%, sometimes more going forward. But it's not just all about the premium. It's certainly something that we look at and make sure that but it's more about not premium but service levels, and as I mentioned before, conditions, exclusions, how clients don't necessarily have certain covers, whether it be directors and officers or cyber liability, professional indemnity, things like that. So I think when it gets to that point, and we would then put something forward, we would tender for the business itself, we would include an account executive, an account handler, and I think what's really important is that we would also put a claims executive in place as well. What people don't read too much into is the reserving on claims, and what has happened lately is that there's been there's an over exaggeration sometimes on the reserving of claims, which really doesn't help the client itself. Just to give you an example of what that means is that if you have 2 or 3 employers' liability claims that have a reserving of £100,000 each, when realistically they should only be reserved at £50,000 each, then that will stop some insurers from quoting and will definitely increase the premium of the other insurers who would actually be willing to quote. At Lockton, you get a claims executive on the due diligence stage that will look at that reserving, will go through that reserving, and if we're appointed, we'll ensure that the reserving comes down. We'll negotiate with the particular insurers at that stage to make sure that's the case. So it's really about the client, I suppose, feeling comfortable after we've done the due diligence, after we've looked at their program, after we've put forward the tender to themselves, and once they're happy, then what at that stage is they appoint Lockton as the insurance broker, and we go from there.